All right, welcome back, YouTube. So we're gonna be doing our first Showdown in the Badlands card review. We're gonna be reviewing all the Death Knight cards today, and I plan on doing this for all the classes as well as all the neutral cards. So if you are interested in that, be sure to tune into all those videos I'm gonna be making. They're gonna be coming out over the next couple days. In about 2 hours, the final cards are gonna be revealed here shortly, and so I'm gonna be recording those videos as well, and they're gonna be coming out over the next couple days. And then the expansion will release on the 14th, and I'll plan on streaming that the entire day, um, and having a good time with the new cards. I've been looking forward to this for a while now. I haven't been playing Hearthstone lately because the meta's been a little stale in my opinion, and I've just been really waiting for these cards, and so I'm really looking forward to playing this. So there's gonna be a little bit more videos happening when this expansion comes out. But we're gonna jump right into it. Just to give you an idea of how I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be going over the cards as well as giving them a rating from 1 out of 5. Um, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, 3 being mediocre, and so on. So we're gonna go into it right away. This is Ma Pa, the first Death Knight Legendary. It's a 4 mana 1/8 undead, 1 blood, 1 unholy. At the end of your turn, gain 5 corpses. At the start of your turn, spend 5 corpses to give your hero plus 5 HP. Now, first glance, this card's pretty cool. It is basically going to be the replacement for Vampiric Blood. Since Vampiric Blood at some point will rotate out, this is going to be the card that's going to kind of take its place. Now, the weird thing with this card is that you don't get to pick when you spend the 5 corpses. It's just at the start of your turn, it automatically does it, which means it's spending the 5 corpses right away, but you are guaranteed to get 5 corpses at the end of your turn. And if this stays on the board through your opponent's turn into the next, it could really make some stuff happen. And it costing 4 mana makes it kind of unique that you can drop down early and kind of snowball with this, I think. Especially some decks can't really deal with this on turn 4. With it being at 8 HP, it'd be really nice if it had stealth, but I think if it had stealth, it'd make it very broken. But this card's very interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be, or how it's going to play in a control style, Death Knight deck. It is an undead, so there's the possibility of discovering it and, summoning up copies of it and all that shenanigans, right? But out of a 1 to 5 star rating, I would probably give this a 3. I think this card's pretty average. I don't think this is gonna make or break a deck, and it's not gonna really swing the meta in any way. The next card is a Fistful of Corpse. 1 mana, 1 blood, 1 unholy. Deal damage to a minion equal to your corpse. Now, this is a really cool card because it doesn't state that it spins the corpse. So if you have 20 corpses, you can deal 20 damage to whatever you want on your side or your opponent's side, which is a very universal card. And I think this is a very good thing for Death Knight, especially since, a lot of stuff is going to be retweeting out for Blood Knight, and it's going to be a very, that whole control style is going to be kind of rotating out. So they're going to need some new stuff to kind of, fit that play style a bit. But I feel like this is a good, direction for this potential, double unholy or double blood, single unholy control deck. I think this is going to be a great card too. I think this isn't going to make or break, the deck either, since we will be playing with the other. It is going to be outclassed by the other control style stuff, I think, as well. Until that stuff rotates out. So I'd probably give this a 2-3 star, or 2 or 3 out of 5. But when all that stuff rotates out, it probably gonna bump it up to a 4. This will be a pretty impactful card, I feel like, for those control style type decks. So right now, I would probably put this as 3. It's pretty average. I don't think it's gonna be too insane. It costing 1 mana though is very, very, very good. If this costed like 2 or 3, I would kind of probably rate it a little bit lower. So honestly, this is probably a 3-star card. I'd give it a 3-star. Yeah. Next one is the Haring Ax. It's a 7 mana 7/7. Taunt Battlecry. If you've excavated twice, your next card this turn costs 7 less. It's an undead and a beast. Now, if you don't know what that excavated effect is, if you've it's these things right here. So I'll kind of let you guys review these, but deal 3 damage, restore 3 HP, draw a card. You'll get these treasures, basically, is what they're called. These are the really good ones here, and so as you excavate, it'll go from common, rare, epic, and legendary. You have to do it 4 times in order to get the big treasure, which is the Azurite Rat. Resurrects your highest card, give it +2/+2, Reborn, and Lifesteal. The Elemental and a Beast. So, you do have to excavate a good amount of times to actually get to the big treasure here. But there are a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good commons. I think out of the rares, these 2 are probably the better ones. I think these are probably the 2 better ones to get off of the commons. I do like the Ogrefist Boulder and the honestly, all of the epics are pretty good. Getting all these probably won't be too bad. Legendary is very great as well, especially for the kind of the future play style of what I think Unholy and Frost will kind of go towards. But the Harrowing Ox will be a very is going to be very interesting because you only have to do it twice, and the next card you play costs 7 less. Very big because you can do a lot with, you play something very big, you play a card that has a lot of value that's going to give you a lot of stuff in one turn. And being able to play the Ox into something big will be it's going to be very swinging, and it's going to, allow for Frost to do a little bit more in a turn than what they used to. So I think this is probably a solid card. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5 stars. This is going to be really good, I think. Now, the next one up is Ruska, the Pit Boss. The 20 mana, 6/3 undead. 1 Frost, 1 Unholy. Rush, cost 1 less for each minion that died this game. Death Rattle, take control of a random enemy minion. Now, this is kind of interesting because it says cost 1 less for each minion that died this game. Now, I think this also applies to your opponent's minions as well. So this card probably costs 0 very often. It doesn't state whether or not it's for each of your minions or your opponent minions. So collectively, if you're controlling very well and you're having set the dice too, this could cost 0 mana very, very fast. And the fact that, you can just throw it down, rush into something, take control of the enemy minion, and then, play the Azurite Rat, because this does cost 20 mana and it is your highest cost minion, it's going to resummon it back up. I assume that's how the effects are going to work, and that's kind of the idea that they're building with it. So you're going to get a +2/+2 one with Reborn and Lifesteal, so you can take a lot of stuff and restore a lot of HP back. I think this card's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know. I think by itself, if this isn't the way I'm talking about the card, if this isn't the case, this is probably worse than what I'm going to rate it. I'd probably give this a 3 or a 4 out of 5 stars. But if this is, I'm completely wrong on how this works, and it's just your minions, and this doesn't count towards the Azurite Rat at all, then this is probably just a 1 or 2 star card. But if I am right, and what I think is going to happen with this card, or the way it's going to be played, or how it's going to be played, I think this is going to be a really solid legendary for the future of Frost and Unholy Death Knight. Up next is the Skeleton Crew. It's a 4 mana 3/3 undead battlecry excavated treasure. It costs 0. So that means you're going to be getting any of these treasure, and if you happen to be doing it on your 4th excavate, you're going to get the Azurite Rat for 0 mana. That's going to be insane. Or even getting the Ogre Fist Boulder, or even the Collapse, like all this stuff. Getting any of this stuff 0 is going to be very impactful. And the fact that this only costs 4 mana for that effect, that's going to be pretty big. Now, whether or not this card's going to be too slow, it does cost 4 mana, and, you play it and you're able to play a treasure right away. So that's going to be really swingy too. So honestly, I would probably give this a 4 out of 5. Like, this is not a bad card. It's undead. It could be discovered. You could set up copies of it, with other cards that have been revealed in the past. I think this is going to be a pretty good card for what, this Frost Unholy type style Death Knight's going to want to do. So I'd probably give this a 4 out of 5. Up next is Reap What You Sow. 3 mana, 1 Frost, deal 3 damage to Excavated Treasure. Now, compared to the Skeleton Crew and Reap What You Sow, it's, I think this card's a little bit better, but the fact that, you play 2 copies of this, you're guaranteed to, get up to 4, and the turn, if you drop this down on your 4th one, you'll get a 0 cost Azurite Rat. The fact that this costs 3 mana to deal 3 damage, and you only get a treasure that you can't play right away, it's kind of eh. Like, Drain Soul's a better card. There's many other, Bash is better. They all cost 2 mana, and, you're able to restore HP. This just gives you treasure you have to wait a turn to play if you're playing this on turn 3. If you're playing this on turn 4, and it's the first one you spend, you could play one of the commons. But then, if it's turn 5, you can play with some of the rares, and it just kind of, goes up from there. But out of this, I think this is a pretty mediocre card, and it's probably going to be played because you want to excavate as much as you can. So I'm probably just going to give this a 2 out of 5. It is pretty mediocre, and I think, Frost has better removal spells than what this would be, even if you are getting a treasure. It is pretty mediocre. Now, the next one is Corpse Farm. It's a 3 mana single unholy. Spend up to 8 corpses to summon a random minion of that cost. I don't really like this effect at all. You don't get to pick the minion that you're summoning from that cost, and you also have to have the corpses to spend to do that effect. And just the fact that it's a random effect, and and it requires you to spend the cost. If it was like the one spell that we reviewed a little bit ago, where it just says, if you have this amount, summon up a guy, so you don't spend the corpses, but since you have to spend the corpses, makes the card worse. This is a 1 out of 5 stars for me. Now, next one, Crop Rotation. 3 mana, 1 unholy, summon 4 1/1 undead with rush that dies at the end of your turn. And on the undead, it states that it does count towards corpse. It doesn't state otherwise. So this card's actually insane. 3 mana, summon up 4 guys that can trade into something, and you get 4 corpses back from it. That's pretty swingy. Now, knowing that kind of makes, Corpse Farm just maybe a little bit better, but the fact that it's only just 1 minion and it's also random It's just what just doesn't cut it for me. But this card is good, especially with Gray Strength. You can play this, play Gray Strength, and you have you know 4/1s that could rush in anything. It's unfortunate they don't have charge, but this would be a good card for Unholy to kind of grind out the corpses a little bit better than what they could used to in the past. This is going to make Lord Marlgar a little bit better as well. It's going to be a really solid card. I'd probably give this a 3 out of 5. Up next is Pile of Bones. It's a 2 mana, 2/1 undead, single frost, 1 unholy. Death Rattle the next time you excavate, resummon this. Now, this is a card that just kind of lives forever, and that's going to, make your Reska cheaper. Your Skeleton Crew, you play this, you automatically get a 2/1. You play this, you get a 2/1. So, the whole little synergy that happens with it all is very unique. And I don't think it's too bad, but the fact is you have to play this has to die for you to get that kind of unending effect. And you will eventually run out of excavate cards, and so this card does kind of, lose value at that point. And it doesn't have, lifesteal or any other crazy, keyword to it to make this card any better. But I do think in the early game, if they're able to, kind of make this thing go, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, just kind of pop off, I guess, and get multiple copies of this. I don't know if it works, but if you play both of them, and every time you excavate, you summon up 2 of them, not a bad effect. If they had Rush, maybe it'd be a little bit more impactful because you could play it and it automatically reacts, but since it doesn't, this card kind of is a little mediocre. I'd probably give it a 2 or 3 out of 5 for me, but it's not a bad card. I like the idea of what they're going with this. Up next is Farmand. It's a 3 mana 4/3, double unholy, battlecry, discover a undead, and then quick draw. It costs 2 less. Now quick draw is a new keyword where it enters your hand this turn and you play it, you gain that bonus effect. But looking at this card as what that is. For example, if you draw this on turn 3 and you play it, you could get a Pile of Bones that costs 0. You could get Skeleton Crew that costs 2. You could get a Reska that costs 2 less. You could get a Haring Ax that costs 5. You get a Monpaw that costs 2. So just knowing that right out the gate is actually really, really big. And I think this is probably one of the best cards that Death Knight's going to be getting. The fact that it's undead, there are a lot of bad undeads, but when rotation happens and some of the undeads are taken out of the pool of undeads and all the recent undeads are in the pool, it's going to be very good. And the fact that all that this is undead and you're able to get more of this guy to excavate more treasures just makes this card even much better. And I love that it's the hand from the Addams family and dressed up as a farmer like that. That's just such a cool thing. I love this art. I definitely think this is probably a 4 or 5 star card. I think this could be ran to triple unholy. It could be ran to any of the other weird little versions of Death Knight you could be played, and you're going to enjoy playing this card every single time, especially with the quick draw effect. The battle cry is good. It's undead, so you can discover itself, technically speaking, unless they say otherwise. But it's not a bad card. I like it quite a bit. So this is the first review over Death Knight. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you guys have your opinions about the cards, just let me know. If you think something should be rated higher, or if something is worse or better than what I've seen it as, or if there's some interaction I didn't go over or that I kind of left out, just leave it down in the comments and let me know. Thank you guys for watching.